All right, let's get started. Okay, so my project is called npChatbot for Twitch. The NP is short for now playing. And essentially what this is, there we go. This is basically a chatbot integration for the Twitch platform that adds a set of music discovery commands to a streamer's channel. And if you're not familiar with live streaming platforms with chat features like Twitch or YouTube, Discord, basically these all have bots connected to them that handle things like chat moderation or adding specialized feature to the live stream, npChatbot being such an example that kind of fits in that category. The commands included in this chatbot allow your viewers to interact directly with the DJ's play history in real time during their streams. And the chatbot facilitates this basically by collecting real-time data from the streamer's live playlist in Serato, which is the software platform that this chatbot is currently built for, before returning that data to the chat for a given command's response. And essentially the problem solved here is we're facilitating something I call direct music discovery. This completely bypasses the need for any third-party apps like Shazam and any inconsistencies that might come up with them. I love Shazam. I would consider myself as close to a power user as can be, but it's not perfect. For all its knowledge, it doesn't know everything. So this is enabling a direct one-to-one sort of data avenue between the viewer and the streamer. Once I started pulling that data out, though, I figured out that you could very easily enable a new layer of interactivity that's unique to each stream, as well as provide the streamer with some basic analytics and insight into their performance and into what their audience is interested in hearing. And under the hood, there's basically two things in this chatbot that really kind of make it work. One is a library for Node called TMI that basically acts as a client connection between the bot and the streamer's Twitch channel. And the other is a feature in the Serato DJ platform called Live Playlists, which when it's enabled, you're basically broadcasting your play history in real time to your profile page. And there's a little screenshot there of what it looks like. You've got your title artist and basically a timestamp for each track that you play as you play it. And anytime a command is used in the npChatbot, we're basically collecting this playlist data, running the necessary query and analysis, and then returning the response to the chat. And that play history, as it's converted, gets moved over into an array of objects with proper time values necessary to run the calculations for some of these statistics. And as you can see, the data is kind of limited in scope, but it does provide enough to allow some live analytics. And we compare those analytics and those responses to the chat commands that the viewers can use at any time. This initially started off with just a simple now playing feature, you know, hey, I like this song, what is it? Enter the command, boom, there's your response. But I realized pretty quickly that there's a lot more data to play around with there, and you can actually run some pretty simple calculations. My personal favorite being a stats command, which will display the total songs that you've played so far in the stream, their current average, and the trend for that average, whether that's going up or down compared to the previous average, as well as the ability to just directly query my play history. If you want to look for a particular song, artist, or both, you have that available to you. And in use, the chatbot's actually pretty simple. There is a one-time initial setup that you have to do to connect the bot to your Twitch channel. But once you've set your preferences, you know, the user basically starts their Twitch stream as normal, initiates a live playlist in their Serato software, and at which point the bot's ready to use. As the commands are used in the chat, the responses will be displayed in the streamer's channel, either as text or on screen via OBS based on their preferences. Excuse me, the dev stack here for npChatbot, the client app, which you saw in the last panel, it's actually pretty simple for the moment. It's written in TypeScript. It's just a mix of React and some custom CSS with Axios handling the API requests. The backend's a little more detailed. It's written primarily with JavaScript Node. Express is in place to handle the client API for the requests, setting preferences, credentials. We're using Cheerio for our data scraping. TMI obviously handles our Twitch integration. There's a really good library that I found called OBS WebSocket.js, which makes it very easy to take the data that you get back from the bot and dump it into your OBS display, either as text or as animation. And then all of the chat commands and the helper methods necessary to run the analytics in the chatbot are kind of organized neatly into ES6 modules in JavaScript. Okay, video time. So let's show this in use. Turn this down a little bit. So basically here, I'm just entering chats into my Twitch chat, entering commands into my Twitch chat that show my stats, currently showing the song now playing. And then if we give it an argument and say now playing previous, it'll show the song just prior to that. And got another one here where we're looking up the shortest. Let me turn down Tears for Fears here. Where we're showing the shortest song in the stream, which for some reason was Milli Vanilli. And then the longest song so far in the stream, along with the playtime. And then we have the direct query command, did you play? And I just looked up George Michael, and sure enough, I played him one time. This must have been a throwback stream of some sort that I did. Okay, insofar as what didn't work, I combed through numerous OBS-related node packages to find a winner. So much so that I actually considered spinning up a separate Python script to handle it, but wanted to keep it kind of all in the Node JavaScript ecosystem. And sure enough, OBS WebSocket.js was the winner. The other thing that did not work, and this is probably my favorite part of this app so far, is trying to build the client without a traditional backend. First thought being is that I didn't need one, just a means to pass the credentials and the preferences to the bot itself. I tried it, it worked, wasn't great. Adding the proper, the sort of backend API to handle those requests, that really did the trick. Let's see here. Insofar as what did work, again, going beyond just a simple now playing solution, that was my original idea. It worked. It wasn't terribly difficult to do, but once I had that data and kind of parsed it out into a nice array of objects, I had, a lot of stuff to work with, and it quickly became obvious that, there's a lot of fun to be had here. Iterative code review and refactoring, I will give credit to ChatGPT on this. The original script that I wrote for this was kind of a haphazard. It was just kind of haphazard. I used ChatGPT extensively, just basically to say, hey, how can I better refactor this? This is kind of a random idea I have. What do you suggest? And just kind of working through that process to getting, better, cleaner code. And then let's see here, next steps. Okay, so on the client and the app site, it's basically finishing and testing it. We're gonna be doing the desktop app in Electron. That's up and running, but there's definitely some tweaking and work that needs to be done there. A little bit of accounting for some data outliers in how that live playlist data is generated and collected. But the main thing here I've found is basically creating content to better introduce the concept behind the bot and how it adds value to both the streamer and their audience, which, that's going to be challenging. Some people don't necessarily like their viewers sort of poking and prodding around in their channel too much. Others do. Others are open door, come in, have fun, go nuts. So yeah, just kind of, explaining the central concept here and just really how it adds value to the channel is probably going to be the main challenge, I would say. At least for the immediate future. And then the other thing I'm definitely looking into is researching this functionality for other DJ platforms. I started with Serato since it has this feature already available. Others have it as well. They all kind of work differently. So definitely some R&D that needs to be done there. And yeah, that's basically the now playing chatbot. Future app site, there actually is a website there. Doesn't do much, but it's there. You can look it over. It's npChatbot.com. Source code's on GitHub. And thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Marcus. That was
Sure.
Well presented. We really appreciate the time and effort that you put in. And I just have to say, you look like you're having the best time when you're DJing. So great to see passion.
This really is sort of the perfect intersection between all my sort of nerdy proclivities. You've got code, you've got music, and you've got live streaming. So yeah, this is kind of where it's at right now. And I'm really happy with the progress that I've made so far this summer on it.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, let's open it up for some questions from the group. Does anyone have any questions for Marcus?
How long have you been doing live streaming versus music versus code? Like did one of them come first, or just sort of been a long time together?
That's a great question. This is sort of, I'd call it sort of a natural progression. I've been writing code professionally for about 5 years. Prior to that, I was a professional broadcaster, worked in commercial radio for 20 plus years, had a lot of experience with it. It's my first love, always will be. And then, after changing careers, I was about 2 years into software development when COVID started. Every DJ that I know took up live streaming in some form or another, either through Twitch, Facebook, Instagram Live, what have you. I think even Reddit has a live streaming feature now. And it just, it's one of those things that just kind of immediately grabbed my attention. This is sort of like micro scale broadcasting. Instead of a 100,000 watt transmitter on top of the mountain sending out, a signal to millions of listeners, we're just doing it through a simple one-to-one connection, through a web platform like Twitch. So the chatbot itself, I started, the original iteration of it probably started about 2 years ago, and it was literally just that now playing command. But as I've kind of come back to it in the time since, I've kind of realized, hey, there's, a lot of fun to be had here. So yeah, that's kind of how I got here.
Nice, love it.
Could I ask if when you're not DJing or streaming, like the technology that you've used to sort of get rid of the ambiguity and the automated decisions and have things be more personal and more direct, do you use streaming services for when you're listening to music, like Tidal or Qbuzz or those things? And a lot of the technology that you're using here, would it have an application there? Like they suggest so much music to you automatically. Could you use a similar approach to get rid of the automation for musical suggestions?
So this one is hyper specific to the software platform that I'm using, which is called Serato. And it is specific for the moment to Twitch. I don't see why rather the same concept could not be applied elsewhere, based on the use case you've just described. I would say though, that would put you back in the realm of needing a third party API to do that, such as Shazam. Again, because the way that this particular chatbot is constructed, there is a direct one-to-one connection between user and music source. Whereas, out in the wild, like when I'm, I regularly use Shazam in my car. Like I'll have it mounted, on my phone to the dashboard. And if I hear a song that I'm interested in, I'll just tap the screen and find out what it is. I would imagine a similar solution outside of the streaming platform at the moment would probably require going back to something like Shazam, at least for the time being.
Thank you. That makes sense.
Definitely have some music fans in this room. I knew a question from Nick was coming. Any other questions for Marcus?
Yeah, I'm gonna miss this, but what's the plan going forward? Are you gonna keep working on it, or and maybe try to get it up and going for other Twitch users, or
Exactly. Yes, that is. And again, it's basically, we've kind of come down to the point where I don't want to say everything's done, but everything's kind of done. It's just kind of going through and crossing the T's and dotting the I's, so to speak. But yeah, once we've got the build down and tested here, I have got probably a half a dozen reliable volunteers from the Twitch community who are just chomping at the bit to try it out. So yeah, that would definitely be the next stage after that, just kind of rolling it out as sort of a beta.
I got a random thing.
Go for it.
Have you ever thought about like DevRel as a career path for yourself?
How so?
You got really strong communication skills and you're really curious, right? And I think that there's a lot of companies that's a unique skill set that doesn't roll around that often. So I just wanted to put it out there. Like you're a really good communicator. You obviously have a passion for it. And there's different ways that we're communicating, outside of radio now.
Oh yeah,
which
definitely.
is obviously one of them. But companies need people that are great communicators that are curious about technology and getting other people involved. And I just think that you're exceptional at it.
Sort of like development PR in a way.
Well, it's working out loud.
Taking the idea and just putting it out there to the public in the best way possible.
It's working out loud, sharing, and creating community. Because most often what we do is we all take things and we take problems and we go away and squirrel away and try to do it on our own. Whereas actually camaraderie is really one of the things that we're missing out on when we do that. And I think DevRel people are special in that they create camaraderie between people that have similar technical interests.
Thanks, Greg. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, just give me that thought.
Awesome. And as a community, we wouldn't be a community unless we asked how we can help. So what can we do, Marcus? What do you need from us? Do we need to hype you up on all the platforms? What's happening?
Hype is good. Yeah, I'm learning that getting people's attention in the digital age is just getting ever increasingly more challenging. So yeah, hype is always welcome. Yeah, just, I mean, the support is great. I appreciate that alone is just knowing that you've got some people behind you who are, interested in what you're doing. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Okay, awesome. And we're recording this, so we'll cut your portion so you can share it with your network as well. So you'll
Wonderful.
have that.
Perfect.
And just on a personal note, what is your most hated requested song if you were to DJ any sort of wedding event radio?
It's all the ones that whatever the song is in your head right now, it's that song. Like for me, it's Don't Stop Believing or Sweet Caroline or any of the songs that I've played 1,000 times for God knows how many drunk people at weddings and bars, nightclubs. It's just kind of like there are literally just an untold number of songs out there, and we keep coming back to these same ones over and over again. It's just, yeah.
Quick follow-up.
Go for it.
In that whole sea of shitty songs that play over and over and over again, which one's the outlier that you actually enjoy?
Oh, that's great. Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Yeah, okay, there you
Oh,
That was high school for me. It was a big song. It's never really gone away. So yeah.
There you go.
Plus they are great live in concert if you ever get a chance to see them.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I feel like we're bonding so much. This is
There
great.
you go.
Thank you so much, Marcus.
My
We really
pleasure. Thank
appreciate
you.
it.